broken wasteland. Come to my fire.
What's going on, metalheads? Thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode of the Metal Forge. My name is Mark Jackson, and I am your host. Here is Jason Gardner from the Heavy Metal Wasteland, now co-host of the Metal Forge.
No, not co-host.
I mean, dude, you're here enough.
I'm on a lot, yeah. But
you might as well be the co-host. Seriously. I noticed something in my videos that I'm going to try and steer away from doing is this.
Hand gestures?
Yeah, I notice I do that a lot, but I mean, I don't want to necessarily be like...
Yeah, like me right now.
Like
yeah, the only
Joe
time I show
Rogan.
my hands is the only time I show my hands is during unsleeved. I'm holding up shit.
The only time you show your hands on any kind of podcast is when you're on like Chatterbait, I'm sure.
If I get too
Dude.
far back, it loses all focus on what's going on. So.
Right, dude. Here we are, the day after Thanksgiving. This week's guest is by way of Finland and Canada, Smoulder. Awesome fucking awesome band.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, how about just band?
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say awesome. I don't know.
Insert subgenre.
Insert
here.
subgenre here. Epic, heavy doom, fantasy driven subgenre. Hey, you're the one that gets into the subgenres of metal so much.
Yeah, man, I love subgenres. So yeah, but we can talk about that.
Dude, I want to make a game almost where it's like a Magic 8 Ball,
Okay.
where instead of taking the 8 ball and getting the answer, you get what the next band is gonna be.
You know, the funny thing about subgenres is like people keep making new ones, and like for some reason, like I just remember that, and so I can like really like get like a really fucking good strand of subgenres going if I really wanted to.
Sure.
Yeah.
And the thing about the genre deal
Yeah.
is like, what about when you get to sit there? It's like, okay, well, this is post metal, this is post rock, this is I mean, are we gonna get to post doom?
The funny thing is, I don't even know what the fuck post means. I just go with it. I have no clue what the fuck post means. Like I know what a post. I know post is after, or like a post that you put in the ground. But like when it comes to music, like I have no fucking clue what this. I just go with.
Let me consult the. Let me get post rock. Post rock is a subgenre of experimental rock. It characterized by the exploration of textures and timbres as well as non-rock styles. Whatever the fuck that means.
Like you say, I still don't know what the hell you just told me, but I'll just use it to act like I know what I'm talking about.
What
like
is considered post-rock? The term post-rock was coined in 1994 by critic Simon Reynolds in his discussion of the music of Talk Talk and Bark Psychosis, which is post-rock generally implied bands that use typical instruments of a rock band, 2 guitars, bass, and drums with non-traditional rhythms, melodies, or chord progressions. Okay.
I mean, what the fuck is a non-traditional chord progression?
I guess
Just
instead
like-
of going G, D, A, you're going G, A, D, or G, E, D. I mean,
if it just sounds good,
I don't know. I mean, it sounds to me like a thing of just something that we can add a name to something.
Yeah, like let's hear your best subgenre thread. Like describe your like ideal band using like 6 subgenre names.
Oh
Go.
my gosh, I don't even think I could.
Yo, yeah, you can. And you can make up words too. Like, look, for instance,
Like
I'm gonna
so
start.
like Overload.
Yeah.
Overload, I would say, would be thrash. I don't know, thrash, sludge. I can only go to 2 with that because it's it's sludgy in the vocal and it's thrash but it's also doomy and you know, I mean, but like with Ice Owl, where we consider Ice Owl to be power doom, stoner power doom. So I don't know. I mean, what would Temptation's Wings be?
Appalachian Power Doom, Wizard Core, Post, War, Ensemble.
Post Wizard Core?
Post, no, I already have, oh, no, not Post Wizard Core, Current Wizard Core, because I just made that up. See, that's what you gotta do, is you gotta make shit up to stand out. So Appalachian Power Doom, Wizard Core, Post, Rock, Blackened, Sludge Doom Band. There you go. And half that shit doesn't even apply, but I just wanted to.
I mean, but
original.
Doesn't it though?
No, we don't have any Blackened.
I mean, I did see a meme, and while we're on the subject of family and everything, and with what bands are what, is I did see a meme where it was Bilbo and Gandalf. He's like, "Oh, we're going to see a great wizard. Hopefully he's greater than yours." And then it's like cuts to Gandalf and Elrond saying, I sent his favorite cousin to Mordor.
Yeah. My favorite one. Go ahead.
And I love that because it's the same thing. It is the Wizard Core. So post Wizard Core would be just like Saruman, right?
That's right. Yeah, my favorite Lord of the Rings meme is the one where he's looking at the ring. It's like, I don't know, it's some kind of death metal logo. And then Gandalf has the shirt. It's like, yeah, very few can read it.
Yes, it's like, I can't read it. There are a few who can.
Yeah, it's some kind of death metal logo. Well, anyway, we should mention that today is Black Friday. So happy Black Friday, everybody. Hope everyone had Thanksgiving. And if you're in the Asheville area, if you're in the Asheville area, we are playing a free show tonight at the Sly Grog with a band called Hologi, which is pretty new to us, and another band called Tombstone Highway, who is like in the obsessed like Bastard Child band. They actually recorded songs with Wino before, so they're like kind of like legit obsessed band boys. So if you're in the area, come on by.
You know, okay, that's a great thing. I'm gonna sit there and say that, like, the internet that's where the scene thing comes in, about like the local scene versus independent scene, whatever, underground scene, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, insert subgenre here.
Insert subgenre scene here.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Did you ever have the bands in your scene that would play at like one club exclusively, so you called those bands the club bands, like?
No, everyone kind of
like, they're one of the odd bands, like they only play the odd.
No, there's the band Bast doesn't like to play anything less than like, you know, a 400 capacity room, so I guess they're kind of like that, really. But yeah, they don't play like Static Age or the Odd or, you know, Fleetwoods, any of the smaller, real small places. They're all like the Eulogy and no, not the Orange Peel. They won't play the Orange Peel for some reason. They could, but they don't. Yeah, I guess they just kind of like park it at Eulogy now, which is like the about 350.
We need to get them on here. We need to get Bask on the show.
I had them on when I was doing Alehorn by myself. Like, it was like one of the first 10 episodes. I think it's like 8.
Speaking of which, where's the Alehorn been?
Funny you say that. I should be recording one this weekend, and then I have ideas to ask other people. So yeah, I'm getting back with it, dude. I'll be honest, man. This like hurricane stuff is still kind of messing with me.
Yeah.
I haven't done Unsleeved because it feels weird, like show off stuff when people lost their lives and homes.
Sure.
So I've been kind of having like a little bit of like a, I don't know, like what would they call that?
Maybe you
like a conscientious like battle whether I should do it or not. But I do need to do one. Yeah. Yeah, man. It's just like, I don't know. It's still like, I don't want to like gloat. And other people are like,
yeah, you don't want to show off your 40th anniversary copy of Power Slave. And
I didn't get that, actually. I thought about it, but I didn't.
Man,
it is cool.
The artwork looks so good.
Yeah, it
looked
is
like
cool,
it was in like a die cut slipcase and everything. And I couldn't justify spending that kind of money on the vinyl though, because I limit my vinyl as it is.
Yeah.
Because I don't plan on moving, but you never know. And vinyl is it's heavy, takes up a lot of space. So I mean that's why the CDs are heavy too, but like, you know, space wise.
Yeah.
And plus I can always get the disc loaders.
Yeah. Funny thing about that, the Power Slave one is I have a copy of Power Slave. It's a first pressing. I actually won it in a raffle in Tampa when I went to go see Maiden on the Final Frontier tour.
Shit.
And there was a bar and they were doing like Maiden tribute bands and stuff. Well, there was a band doing a Maiden tribute set and then their own set. And actually, funny enough, the comedian like Brian Posehn, I think that's how you say it.
Posehn,
was actually there that night.
It's more metal than you.
Yeah, and filled in and did that song with like the band doing the tribute set and their own set. But I won a raffle of Power Slave. That was the first time I've ever won like that. So yeah, my copy of Power Slave, like it kind of means something to me. I never even listened to it, you know. That copy.
Was it still sealed?
Yeah, it was.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
so it's original press, still sealed.
Well, the cardboard's a little worn, but the record's brand new.
Holy fuck!
I'm not sure.
I'm not
sure how the cardboard got worn. It might have just been like a weather thing, like humidity down there. I mean, if it's 1984,
sitting in somebody's collection.
Yeah, if it was 1984, and you know this was like 2010 or 11, I want to say that was like a 20-year-old vinyl.
20 fucking
more
almost
yeah.
25, 26-year-old vinyl, yeah.
But like I said, the vinyl was not played. Like the grooves are still like shiny as shit. It's just like the cardboard is a little weathered. So
nice.
But yeah, that's the first time I ever won like that.
So
I was like, hell yeah. I'll take
it. As Jason, as we're nearing the end of the year with this deal with the Metal Forge and coming up on the 6-year anniversary shows on January the 3rd, which is going to be featuring who is going to be on that show? Let's see. I have to go back to my stuff here.
Just make it a surprise on January 3rd.
No, I can't do that because it's going to be Defeated Sanity, Legacy Tech Death Band here. What are you looking forward to in 2025? I think we can get to that because it's a month away now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I don't really know of anything that's supposed to be like imminent. I mean,
what do you want to do in 2025? Like with Temptation's Wings, what do
we should be
stuff like that? What do you want to look forward to?
We'll be recording. I don't know if it'll be a full album or just a couple EPs, like 2-song EPs. I don't know just yet, but we'll be recording and hopefully playing some more shows. And yeah, just writing. I mean, dude, we have so many fucking songs now, man. Like ideas that we can do. There's a lot. I mean, like, so we had a little bit of a lineup change. It's a little weird situation. It's like we're still a 4-piece.
It's the best of both worlds.
We're a 4-piece. We're also a 3-piece. It's just a weird situation until Chad figures out what he wants to do. But yeah, we've been writing like hell, man. Like just writing all these fucking really good songs, and then like I said, I mean, I don't know how we're gonna record them and stuff like that just yet. But you know, it's like I don't know. It's just like so many options. It's kind of exciting, you know.
Hell yeah, man.
It's like, will Chad show up on this one or really not? I don't know. You know, so. Yeah.
Dude, it's honestly the best of both worlds, and I think Overload has something similar like that, where we have the best of both worlds because, as you might have seen in the live stream from Mike's birthday basement jam,
yeah,
we did a song with Todd on drums, and we did some songs with Mike on drums.
Yeah, I did see that actually. That was pretty cool. I mean, nobody's gonna be on drums except for me, unfortunately.
Well, no, but the thing about it is it's two different eras of Overload. Yeah. When Mike was the guitar player and Todd was the drummer, and then they switched places back at in 2023.
Right.
when we switched production and
They back in 2023, like I said, long ago.
It feels like it's been forever ago.
Yeah.
Might have been 2022, actually, now that I think about it. It's whenever we played with Anvil.
I got you.
I think that was 2022, actually.
Yeah. One more thing before we wrap up and get into the episode this week. If you're an Opeth fan and haven't listened to the new one, you should go ahead and do that ASAP. Because
That's what I've heard.
Their new
I haven't
album is
listened
pretty.
to it yet.
Their new album's pretty fucking awesome, man. It's a lot of Blackwater Park in it, but it's like really modern, and they got a new drummer. Yeah, I can't pronounce his name because he's Finnish. But dude, this kid, and I'm pretty sure this guy can't be over like 25. This kid is pretty fucking outstanding, man. Like the shit he could do. So yeah, I'm digging it a lot, man. It's pretty damn awesome so far. I've listened to it twice.
But is it album of the year quality?
For me personally,
or do they fall out of that list because of the echelon that they're in?
Well, according to your rules with no major labels, they would fall out just because of that. But if I have to go,
I never said no major labels. I just said like if you're playing 20,000 seat arenas, I don't think you should be considered for album of the year.
Okay. Well, anyway, musical composition of the year, yeah, probably so. Album of the year, like I said, there's a lot of good albums this year. So, but yeah, as far as like, as far as like the like composer, like Michael Ackerfeld as a composer, dude, when it's all said and done, his name should probably be amongst the greats. I mean, this dude's on another level, man. But he's such a goofball. It's the thing that kills me, man. It's like you go see an Opeth show, it's like a half comedy show. Like just the shit he says, and it's so dry. You know, he doesn't smile. It's hilarious, but you know,
dude,
it's like,
I know people that are that way, and it drives me absolutely fucking bonkers.
Yeah.
To do that, to be like in a band with somebody like that, and I've been in bands with people like that, and it's just like you almost have to be like, this isn't a parody show.
Yeah, I mean, like he just makes fun of his band members and shit on stage too. Just says off marker comments about him, like, you know, I forgot what the keyboard's name, the keyboard player's name is, but I remember I saw him at the Orange Peel like 3 albums ago, I want to say, maybe 4. But he was just like in between songs, he's like, "Hey, ladies, I want you to know that the whatever his name is, wearing cowboy boots. We get with him after the show." And then they just went to the next song. That's what the hell,
dude? Wow.
So yeah, just funny shit like that. Yeah.
Do you all do that with Ryan? Like, "Hey, ladies, he's single."
He's the bass player. They already know.
Oh. God damn.
Man, I had to throw it out there, dude.
Speaking of which,
there's a hierarchy. Sorry,
Speaking of which,
yeah.
As it stands right now, I think we're gonna look at doing another big goddamn metal show next year.
Cool.
So more to look forward to. That's what I'm looking forward to in 2025. That and more shows with Overload and Ice Owl, and some shows with friends in North Carolina, some shows with friends in Chicago and Wisconsin and maybe New York, and who knows? Sky is the limit. Metal every fucking day. We're going to listen to some Smoulder. Jason, do you have anything in particular that you want to listen to from them?
Nope. I figured just you are the host, so you get the what's the privilege of picking.
You know, I almost do, I don't know. It's like I could pick anything because this band I've followed them for so long, it feels like, with the Metal Forge. And now that they finally are on the show, it's like, do I want to play something newer? Do I want to play something older? Do I want to play something in the middle?
Well, I would say if they took the time to record it, they should be pretty proud of it. So whatever you pick should be good.
Well, absolutely. So from times of obscene evil and wild daring, we're going to go to Bastard Steel.
Bastard's always a good one. Bastard anything is usually a pretty rocking one.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Bastard Steel. right, metalheads, I am being joined from across the Atlantic. And I did that thing. I just did the dialect here in Indiana across the Atlantic. I added the T to it or the ED. Uh, Across the Atlantic. Over from Finland, Smoulder, we have Sarah and Shon. How are you all?
Good.
Yeah, we're doing good.
Doing really well.
Yeah. It's by the time we're recording this, it's mid-evening for them in at the beginning of or end of October. It's middle of the day for me because of the time difference. Uh, you know, when we're all rock and rollers, it's all rock and roll all the time, right?
I don't know. It's also Sunday, like sleepy time.
Yes.
What's the line? I want to rock and roll all night and part of every day.
Yes, and part of every day.
It's okay.
That is exactly right. And again, with it being a Sunday, that is the go-to day where everybody kind of relaxes. You had your Friday, some places your Thursday night shows, your Fridays, your Saturdays, and if you have to work in any of those days too, then it's even more of a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Yeah, I like
So
it.
what's going on? How are you all? How are things? How is Finland?
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah,
So relaxed.
Right. I guess we're a little tired now. We had a pretty busy year. We did a tour back in May, and we played like several different festivals in several different countries. The last one being in Poland at the beginning of September.
Yeah, and then we went to the US for our guitarist Colin got married, so we went to the US for his wedding, and we played the first Smoulder short show with like our classic lineup for the first time since 2019, which was great. It was playing his wedding, which was a little surreal and exhausting, but it was really nice, obviously.
Yeah, it was a few hours into the wedding. We had all been
drinking too much.
So
but it was nice.
But it had to have been nice to get to be able to do that, to get together and play a shortened set of the quote classic lineup now.
I mean, it was really, really nice. Like those guys are such old friends. And like the band's always been super spread out, but obviously it's worse when we're in Finland instead of when we were in Canada. But that's just how it is now because Adam, our bassist, actually also recently moved to Finland, which has been fantastic.
I guess we could have invited him tonight. But...
I don't even. Yeah, it's okay. I love Adam. If you watch
Sorry,
this.
Adam.
But yeah, he's now in Helsinki too, and like we have. I mean, that's kind of the thing. It's like the band's so international now. Like we have a Finnish lineup, we have the guys in North America. Everybody comes when they can, and we spend time together when we can, and that's like very special, obviously, for us. We never really thought that we could get the band to a position where we're essentially getting the privilege of flying our friends who could attend to festivals to play with us. I don't know. It's pretty sick.
That's cool, though. And I'm going to go ahead and ask one of the first fan submitted questions of this episode is when it comes to playing festival shows, how does it differ playing European festivals versus American festivals?
I mean, we've only played one American festival?
Yeah, we've only played as far as US shows goes, we've only ever played in Chicago.
Twice.
We played 2 shows in Chicago. One was the very first live show we ever played back in 2018. And then the second one was in 2019
for Legions of
Metal.
But obviously it's different. Like the standard of living in Europe is higher than the US. And it's higher than Canada too, in the vast majority of Europe. So there's more of like a kind of a culture of like treating artists well, and also just like putting artists in hotels and feeding artists and like those types of things. And of course, that helps a lot for me specifically because like I have chronic illness. So like if I tour when we do it in Europe, it's actually a lot easier because it means that the things that I need to like not get sick when we're on tour are like a quiet place to sleep, a clean place to sleep, and like a proper diet. And when we're on tour in Europe and when we play festivals in Europe, and then we get all those things, and it's just like an automatic thing that everybody gets. Whereas like in North America, that's not the standard unless you're like really high up on the food chain, the
Yeah, like in
proverbial
terms
food
of
chain. So
in terms of like heavy metal festivals, there's obviously much less of them in the U.S. than there is in Europe,
they're also
and
so
like
spread out. Oh
and
my
like
god.
our experience with like heavy metal festivals has mainly been in Europe. Like since we moved here 3 years ago, we've played like probably a dozen different heavy metal
Probably
festivals in
played
Europe,
20 of them at
and
least. They've been great.
and they
It's been
all they
amazing.
all treat like they treat bands like royalty.
Yeah,
Like all of them are great.
we've been very lucky. It's been great though. Like
And
we
it
love
and
it.
it seems like too, a lot of the European festivals take a lot less time to make a good turnaround on fan maximization, it feels like.
I'm not sure. Sorry, I'm not really sure what that means. Like,
Well, what I mean is like, so if you take a festival in the States, it honestly seems like it could go 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years before, if ever it actually pulls a really good, amazing crowd of,
yeah,
five, six, eight, 1,000 people, versus in Europe, it feels like it might be the second or third year and it's already popping people like 500, 800 people,
well,
bam, in most of them.
it depends on the festival
yeah, it
because
really depends. I think,
like in this past year we've played a lot of festivals that we didn't even know existed until they had asked us to play.
and a lot of them were quite small, but
Yeah, like
not necessarily like to their detriment. It's just
no,
like
like
they're designed that way,
yeah,
which
like
is
Sure,
nice. But like you also have to remember that the US is massive. It's
sure,
so big. So a lot of the time I think it's really challenging for festivals in the US to become particularly like to break even, to drive like to attract a certain audience, because there's also people are really really broke, and if you have to
sure.
couple like traveling across the country, which is very expensive, like it's not
Let
like traveling
me
in
raise
Europe.
my hand here. I get
Like
it.
we can fly from Finland to mainland Europe for usually 200 euros. And it's the same distance as if you were flying from like New York to like Florida, but that flight in the US costs like $600 versus in Europe it costs like 200. So
Sure,
like there's so many different factors that are kind of negatively impacting like how the United States and like Canadian scenes are operating. And it's like most of them are chalked up to the fact that like there's not enough people, the population centers are too far apart, et cetera, et cetera. It's just like becomes a really big challenge. Whereas here, obviously there's problems here too, but the music culture is like very very strong and very
mhm.
very celebrated, and there's more money because the standard of living is higher, so like all those things coupled
sure. Yeah,
makes it
absolutely.
easier,
Mhm.
like so. Yeah,
Especially in Germany.
especially in Germany. Oh my god.
Definitely. And a couple of points off of that is um one, how much crossover fandom do you get to see between playing in places like Germany and Finland and say the UK, versus getting to, just seeing your fans from a particular country in that country? Do you get a lot of crossover?
Oh, you mean like fans who
Yeah,
fly to see us in different
Yeah,
countries?
fans who travel, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, we have a couple like really diehard people who have
yeah,
seen us like in multiple countries.
and like like I would guess that at least half of the shows we played have been in Germany.
Yeah.
And even the
Sure.
festivals that we play in Germany, we'll always meet at least a few people who are like, "Oh, hey, I flew from the UK for you for this festival to see you guys," or "I flew from Greece
Yeah.
or Italy or blah blah
Yeah,
blah."
there's
And
a lot more mobility in that sense. I think people like
mhm,
also have more time off, so more people are like traveling for shows and stuff like
Sure.
that. So it's pretty exciting. And
mm,
like because we've only played 45 shows now historically ever, which is crazy to
yeah, and
say.
even
We've played in 20 countries, but we've played in Germany 20 times.
like the last
Which
show
is
that
crazy.
we played a show in Finland back in June or July. That was our second show in Finland, and there was multiple people who had come from Sweden
In Estonia.
and Estonia
Yeah.
to see us. So
Yeah. It's cool.
yeah,
It's nice.
Absolutely. And what is so interesting about that is where you say historically the band has played 45 shows and 20 of them have been in Germany. So to put context in that, of being a band for roughly 11 years.
Well, yeah, but it's like the band, it's the way that the full band has operated, because like the band was just a
Sure.
band between the two of us for the first what, 5, 6 years.
Yeah, it wasn't until
We weren't really a real band at that point. It was both of us. Like Vincent was learning how to play guitar
yeah.
because his primary instrument was bass, and
Okay.
I was drummer for the first 6 years, and he used to be the vocalist. And then when we moved from Calgary to Toronto, then I was like, I've been singing certain parts and I'm the one writing the lyrics and they're all coming from a woman's perspective. So this like setup doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Mhm.
And like, then we decided, okay, like I can't drum and sing at the same time because like I had been practicing that and it had been quite difficult. And it really takes like a lot of experience and athleticism. And I wasn't there yet. So we decided like, okay, like let's, get things going and we'll get another drummer. Who can play my parts, and I'll write them. And then we found Kevin, and we were like, Kevin's a way better drummer than I am.
Yeah,
What? He's great.
I probably say this at
Nice.
least once a year, but he's the most talented member of
Kevin's
the
so
band.
talented.
But yeah, and we've only been active as like a live band since 2018.
Yeah, and then the
Sure.
pandemic.
Yes, and then the
So
pandemic hit.
it was 3 years of, and then it was like, oh, we're moving across the world. So like it's been kind of silly, but you're right. We have not played a lot of shows, and we got
That's
moved up the food chain super fast, which like we're very grateful for because yeah, we know that this is not a very common thing, and we've been very lucky. Let's put it that way.
sure.
We're very
And
lucky.
but it's music people can get behind. And when you've got that kind of a rocket strapped to you, that it works. And honestly, it makes me as a podcaster and as a fan feel good to see bands like yours get the notoriety and satisfaction of that notoriety and the I don't want to say clout necessarily, but like that I don't know if it's that rub either that's like, you could definitely be a lot higher up in a few more years, I
I mean,
definitely could see that,
yeah, like
especially with the fall off of bands in rock and metal music that is coming, because
yeah,
these bands that are, Kiss and AC/DC and Aerosmith and Metallica and Megadeth and all of these bands are gonna start slowing down. They're
yeah.
going, and who's going to replace them? Bands such as yours,
I hope so.
bands such as
That would be
Midnight Night Demon, Bloodstar, Lady B, Sanhedrin, boom. That's what I think. And honestly, the show count doesn't matter as the quality matters.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
think
I
that's
mean,
what you all have is amazing quality of music.
well, thank you. I mean, it would be really nice. Obviously, like that is, we would have never considered that to be the goal like 7 years ago. But like now we're seeing it and we're experiencing it, and we're like, oh,
Yeah,
because
like
it would be so exciting. Because the thing is that when you experience like this weird stage of exponential growth, and you're trying to steer it in a very like DIY, like keeping everything to yourself
Mm-hmm.
kind of direction. Like the thing that we're talking about now, it's like, okay, well, we're headlining festivals for the first time next year. Like
Mhm.
how are we headlining festivals, first of all? But like if we're headlining a festival, what do we do that will increase the theatricality and like the live presence and those
Very
things?
much.
You have to think about that.
Mhm.
And it's been really interesting because obviously like we discuss, debate, argue about this like all the time. And we're talking about that, about how are we going to do this headlining festival set? Like, okay, it's time to start getting, you know, like projectors and light shows and
Yes,
music
absolutely.
videos.
Because if you don't have it, even if I've always sit there and said that any five people could go on stage and perform a show,
Yeah.
just perform music on stage. But when
Yeah.
you have, I don't know, still one of my favorite things is the bomber light rig from Motorhead,
Yeah.
where it was just
Yeah,
a skeleton of a
that's cool.
plane,
Yeah.
essentially, but the lights were just uh motion lights to make it look like the propellers, and it's just like it's all it needed to be.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? It's like it's weird to have those considerations when you're also considering, like let's write more music and let's keep the quality at this certain level. And like we're talking about like the album 3, and like it's going to be likely a concept record. And but when you have to think about those things in conjunction with like the music writing and all the other things, it's pretty interesting. Like you start having a much clearer understanding of how much effort and work and acumen it actually takes to be a successful band, because there's a reason why a lot of bands just like burn out really quickly. It's because it's a lot of pressure. Like it's pressure to be designing merch and to be like negotiating with like festival organizers and, you know, like making sure you're breaking even on things and like you're not hemorrhaging money, and that there's so many things to consider.
And with anything that you wish that it makes money, even if it is, you know, not having to dip into your own personal pocket to pay for things.
Exactly.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
And that was always one of my aspects of being being in a band was I was just like, you know what? If I could live comfortably for X amount of dollars a salary per year, the band needs to at least make that also.
Mm-hmm.
So in turn, you know, if say you want $50,000 a year to live on, then, you know, however many members of your band times that, plus the band as a member gets to make that too. So it needs to be able to make that. So yeah, I totally get it. But you had mentioned about being a drummer first and writing the lyrics and the discipline it takes to sing and play an instrument, and drums being one of them.
Yeah.
But I can't not bring up the fact of too of how much of a stigma that is being a drummer who is a singer also, because there still to this day is a you play the time, you don't sing, you don't contribute, you know, there is a lot of that still in metal
Yeah.
where drummers are basically there to keep time. And you know,
I think that's a
kudos to
really
you,
popular opinion
kudos to
amongst
you for
narcissists.
trying to actually to make it work. But you know, there doesn't need to be that, you know.
No,
Not everybody who wants to sing is obnoxious and has lead singer's disease. Um, but
well,
no,
there's that, but it's also just like I think I think there's too many people in metal. Like narcissism is a big part of heavy metal. Everybody
sure.
thinks, like not everyone, but a lot of people think that like it's their way or the highway. It's like my taste is the best. My guitar writing is the best. My this is the best. And the thing is like that's not very conducive to success. And like there's a reason why like narcissistic guitarists say things like that and narcissistic singers say things like that. But
Sure.
I think the point is that like ultimately like a very successful band has a good drummer, has a good bassist, has a good guitarist, has a good singer, and like you actually have to acknowledge and integrate the ideas of all of this, like all of the talented people in your band to maintain a relationship. And we're in this like complex process of maintaining a relationship with 2 international lineups. So it's means that like there's a lot of negotiating and a lot of
Mhm.
like communication and all these other things that go into it. And I think because like everyone in the band actually has a lot of experience in playing in other projects, whereas I don't have that experience, like not as much as most of the guys in the band. Um, it means that we're all kind of like negotiating each other's like talents and boundaries. So yeah, it's I
We're
can't
gonna
imagine
see this one
telling our
day.
drummer he sucks. He's so
You
good.
mentioned you mentioned again the awesome dynamic of having 2 lineups, having an international setup,
Yeah.
which I think is awesome. And I want to totally see the Smolder, uh, you know, play on Friday in Europe, play on Saturday in the States, both
Oh my god.
on one weekend. It's gonna happen.
You know, I wouldn't say no to like a Friday and Saturday in the same country with the different lineups, that'd be great. But oh my god, in different continents, that would be really hard. But
you'd need a few days in between for that, for sure.
just to like survive it. But like, yeah.
For sure.
I mean,
the jet lag. Jim, talk about rock star shit. That would be rock star shit. Fucking fly to.
This is why rock stars did a lot of drugs historically, is because that shit is
right.
They're
just, you get off the plane after like a 9-hour
flight
and have to go play a show. Yeah, you're gonna do some drugs.
Yeah, I think so.
That would be that'd be the goal, wouldn't it? So that ultimately would have to be a goal, right? Is to play like a festival and where you get to have both lineups there.
I mean, that would be really
now
cool.
do you all play the same songs considered?
It's hard to
or
imagine.
Does each lineup know different songs?
I mean,
it depends on the show. We'll decide like on a set list ahead of time, and like depending on who is playing the show, they'll know what the set is, so that's going to be what we'll play.
But, I mean, I would love to do like
a
Friday night doom set and a Saturday night power metal set.
That would be cool.
That would be sick.
It's hard to imagine a scenario where it would make sense to have both lineups.
But we're just talking about theoretical.
It's theoretical. It's the rock star shit.
Like it would. Kevin obviously like absolutely worships Dragon Slayer's Doom. That's like his favorite song in the Smoulder discography, which makes sense. Like he wrote it and I wrote the lyrics, and like both of us are really gung ho on that song. And he's always like, yeah, like when I get to play with you guys, because he's been in the States for a while now. He had a baby. Him and his wife had a baby like a year and a half ago. So he's been unable to tour, which totally makes sense. But like now that his daughter is getting older, he's been like, oh, I could come tour. If we do it, I want to do Dragon Slayer. I'm like, yeah, dude. We would do that for you, Papa.
So the most recent album, Violent Creative Vengeance, came out in April of 23. So here we are about a year and a half off of that now. What do we have coming up next?
It's going to take forever because we take forever with everything, but that's okay.
We're currently, we've currently been talking, like, especially since the five of us were all in the same place at the same time when we were at Colin's wedding. Yeah. We kind of have been starting to talk about what album 3 will look like. And,
we had Kevin, we flew Kevin here last year as well to do more writing.
Yeah. Kevin came here last year for a week, and we got to jam with him, and sort of talk about writing and like write some stuff like in person, which was cool.
Yeah.
But as it stands right now, I think album 3 will be a concept album.
Yeah.
About an as yet unnamed book.
Fantasy, dystopian fantasy future sci-fi novel.
Which
I love a lot.
Which is, yeah. And,
but we don't want to say it yet, just because we don't want to, like, if it changes, obviously, that'll be what happens.
For sure. No. So that's actually a rad concept. Like the co-host of the Metal Forge, he does a lot of monologues with the show, and he does sit in on interview from time to time too. Jason Gardner, he plays in a band called Temptation's Wings, and their Skullthor Ebonblade record is a concept album where he actually wrote the book with it and published a book as well.
That's really cool. I'm actually currently.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Well, I was gonna say I'm actually currently writing like for gosh. Sorry, correct words. Trying to get them out of my mouth. Dave Ritzlin.
What are you doing?
Dave Ritzlin. DMR books.
Yeah.
I'm currently writing like one of our songs into a full-length story for like a sword and sorcery compendium. So it's a pretty interesting project. So I admire the tenacity of like your coworker, because it's a lot of work to do that.
Oh, it absolutely is. And it's what I love about the old, like, original, like, Dragonlance novels still to this day, or, not, it doesn't even have to be that. It could be any of the Forgotten Realms novels. And a lot of the places of where they came from were people's D&D campaigns.
Yeah.
Like if you're familiar with like the Twins series from Dragonlance, Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman played twin characters, Caramon and Raceland. Totally cool stuff. Like, and it was in their campaigns with Gary Gygax back in the original run of D&D under Greyhawk.
Yeah, Dragonlance was like the first like large scale like fantasy sword and sorcery world that I really got into.
Yeah, our song like Voyage of the Sun Chaser is from Dragonlance.
Yeah.
Nice.
And like all of our stories are, and it's been kind of interesting because the first album it was all like, oh, I'm gonna like write songs about existing stories, but then the second album was like, I'm gonna write my own stories and then write songs for that because it just felt like, you know, obviously
I mean, a lot of the songs on Violent Creed were also just about other stories.
No, I know, but I was prioritizing like writing new stories. Like that's
I guess it was half and half.
Like it was a lot less about other things than it was about like original stories and characters. So,
and that's totally rad too, because obviously all of this ties in with the artwork because you very much have, you know, first and second age D&D, like second edition type stuff, type artwork for your album and EP covers and everything. You know, something that you could see an Ed Repka or a Frank Frazetta painting or anybody, Boris Vallejo, which I absolutely love.
Yeah, they're all done by Michael Whelan, who is a sword and sorcery fantasy painter. He actually did also all the Cirith Ungals behind us.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
which again, you know, I still can't. I will never forget the first the first time I ever saw the original Monsters Compendium, like with the Gith Yankee on the cover, and just being so enamored by that artwork, and then turning around and seeing bands like Cirith Ungol, and you know, and then getting to Molly Hatchet with that Frank Frazetta cover. And just being completely let down that it was like Southern rock and not power metal.
I also had that experience when I first bought that record when I was like 15. I was like, this must be amazing. And then I was like, oh, it's not. Oh no.
It's like, what the fuck is this? I always say that band is theft by deception. Because they sold so many power metal, they sold the album to so many power metal heads that and it was nothing. It was like, what?
You're like, I wanted this to rock, but it just rolls.
Is this the wrong record? Like, did they press the wrong record?
I got a misprint.
Something like that.
So okay, so you're taking shape of the new album for whenever of release date, a TBA release date. Awesome stuff. So I noticed, Sarah, you put out on the internet a few days ago, by the time we record this, about potential dates into booking 2025. Is there anywhere in particular that you all can share where you're going to be at next year?
Yeah, we have shows confirmed now in Sweden and in Germany and in where's the other place?
Well, not Spain yet.
No, that's also in the works. I mean, there's gonna be
now. There's just the two right now.
Greece. Yeah, they're the other one. Yeah,
Greece in January, and then back to Germany again in July.
But we also then, like, in the coming weeks, we'll be announcing more. And we're also just working on, like, we'd really like to tour in Australia and Japan and the US, but they're all massive logistical challenges, as you can imagine. So it's like, those are all on the wish list, but we'll see, you know?
Definitely. And I know I had hit you up and I was like, maybe we're coming to the States.
Yeah, no plans.
That would be the ideal dream, right?
I mean, it would, but the problem with the US is, like, to do it properly, you need visas, and those visas are insanely expensive, and insanely expensive plus already breaking even in the US is a huge challenge. And like every artist that we talk to, like, hemorrhages money to go to the US. So we're just not sure it's like a good call.
To make it worth us for it, to make it worth it for us, we'd have to play like at least like a week's
Probably
worth of shows.
we'd have to play
Oh
like at
yeah,
least
absolutely.
not just a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would probably, yeah, it'd probably even have to be even more. It'd probably have to be 2 weeks or better to and break even on them. And
Yeah.
I was actually looking at booking a international touring band um here for like February. And the just for them to even break even on the show was still like $4,800.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, oh my gosh, I am
Yeah,
so,
flights and visas.
and it would have been like a Wednesday, and I'm like, no, I can't do that on a Wednesday.
Well,
Not
this is
in
the problem,
the
right? It's
States.
like people complain all the time, like, why aren't you playing the States? And it's like, you guys understand, like,
Logistics.
How
like the
you it's
logistics
like you understand how the
are
economy works and how money works,
like,
right?
like we're not that rich. Like we don't want to like.
Well, that's the thing. Like even like a band at our size can get the level of like visa that is expensive, but not like unattainable. But when you get to a bigger level of a band and you have like a crew of like 20 or 30 people, you have to
God,
you have to pay for the next level of the visa, and that one is like so fucking expensive that
Sure.
even bigger bands like wasn't like Anthrax or something, didn't they have to like cancel the tour?
That was in Europe. That's kind of
in
a
Europe,
that's
yeah,
a kind
yeah.
of a
But
different
there's
conversation.
been bands that have had to just like cancel tours because they can't afford it. Like bands much bigger than us. So
yeah, touring
Sure.
is getting
And
increasingly dodgy. So
and the bad thing is starting in January, that's going to change again.
oh great,
The international visa is going up in price,
oh
and
good.
like the
So we're never to
minimum,
the US. Sorry guys.
it's like I think it was something like $1,800 or something per person or
Oh my
something like
God.
that. It might even be more than that now.
Last time I checked, it was like $5.95, and that was when we were living in Canada. And even in Canada, I was like, "What? Like $5.95 per artist?" Like
I think now it's around 800 for like per
each
person
artist.
for a band of our size.
That's
So yeah,
insane.
it's kind of
That's yeah. So like I can appreciate that people want to see us live, but like we also all have adult lives and bills and like want to eat food. So like yeah, when you run into that and then you run into the realities of touring, it's like sometimes you just can't do it. So we'll see. Maybe one day. We'll see.
yeah.
Maybe we'll fall into
Definitely.
a bucket of money and then do that. A huge pile, a cauldron of money.
Yeah, so I was actually just looking on the I need to scrub my computer now because I hit a gov site.
Uh-oh.
I was looking under the temporary work visas under, seeing what P2 or P3 would be. So, but it's not actually listing them on there by price. Of course it's not, because why would they be? Why would they be? Anyway, let's go ahead and jump over to Derail. These are 5 random questions about you as people. Obviously, music gets brought into everything because we are musicians and artists. So the passion is always still there, but these are about you as people. If you could write the book that and the title that best describes your life, what would it be?
The title of the book of my life. Oh, that's a
She was a problem. The story.
That's a good
She
one.
annoyed many men. The Sarah story.
She was a problem.
I don't know. Maybe mine would be the mysterious metal menagerie. I don't know.
It'd be my face just being like, fuck you.
And then there were none. What is the best thing about your life?
Oh, jeez. Everything. God, I don't know. I feel really lucky.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, right now, yeah.
Life is so good right now. It's crazy. We live in a little house right beside the forest, and there's like mushrooms. So there's like like we literally live 200
Did you
meters.
just quote Tolkien to me? We
Yeah,
live
now,
in a little house by the forest and there's mushrooms. That is totally Lord of the Rings. I
Yeah.
mean,
We live directly beside this place called Mustavori, which is like Black
No.
Mountain, and it's covered in wild mushrooms and blueberries. And I have a kayak in my backyard, and I can take my kayak on a little trolley and walk it into the
Yeah,
sea. And we just make heavy metal and live in the forest, and
Yeah, we don't-
everything's so peaceful.
yeah, we don't have to worry about becoming homeless if we lost our jobs.
Yeah, because Finland's got really good social programs. It's pretty. We're pretty blessed. Pretty
that's
hashed.
awesome.
It's very
I
nice.
absolutely adore that. That is freaking amazing. That's just like, you
Yeah.
know, now do you all harvest any of the mushrooms I
Oh yeah.
take?
I'm crazy about mushrooms. One second.
Yeah,
I will
we
grab
just-
my most recent harvest of mushrooms.
Uh-oh.
Made,
Because I was gonna ask, like, what kind of, I mean, do they have multiple variety that grow?
Oh, there's tons of different kinds. Yeah, like we just made spaghetti tonight, and we used some of the mushrooms. The most common kind being the suplavajero.
Winter
The
chanterelles.
winter chanterelles, yeah.
Yeah, so I dried my mushrooms because I got so many this year. So right now I have my jar of suplavajero, which is like
Oh wow, that is
in my head, as you can see.
that
And
is
then
a lot.
Yeah, and then I also have my dried jars of my curry milk caps, which are like delicious as well. So I'm pretty into mushrooms and like foraging here and just like making art and stuff. So like yeah, that's what people can expect from the next Smoulder album is like two old people who are just like happy making heavy metal. Boring.
No, that's the goal, I think. That's the overall goal. And that's awesome. You know, and yeah, like I'm new to the home thing. About 3 years ago, I, you know, made the first time home buy when I turned 39 and
Congratulations.
just you know, needed to get out and to do something else, and the
Yep.
apartment life wasn't really it anymore. And yeah, and here I am now still doing episodes of the Metal Forge and, you know, talking to awesome people around the world like such as yourselves.
Yeah, it's kind of a game changer when you like get into your late 30s and you start figuring all your shit out, you know? Like it's
Yeah.
nice. And it's
And
obviously it's a privilege, right? Like not everybody is so lucky, but like yeah, we
and
we
I
moved here
think
and figured our shit.
honestly, European countries, it does happen a little bit earlier than your late 30s. Now,
Absolutely it does. All
and
of our friends are like so far ahead of us and we're just like you have a middle class? Like what are you talking about? There's no middle
right.
class in Canada.
In North America in particular, you know, the United States and Canada, it's really not they're very much, you know, most of the time kids aren't leaving the house until they're at least 25.
Yeah, because you can't afford it. And that was like we had the same struggles, you know, like I was living with my parents until I finished my undergrad university degree.
Yeah, I
And
moved
like
out when I was like 20.
yeah, like we
Yeah.
couldn't afford it. And even that was like 15, 20 years ago. But it is shocking. Like all of our friends in Finland, they bought houses like 6, 7 years ago, and a lot of them are slightly younger than us or slightly younger than us. And to us, that's shocking because, like in Canada, I don't know if you know much about what's happening in Canada, but like housing prices are starting at like $750,000. Like
Sure.
nobody has that kind of money,
Yeah.
you know. So
No.
it's part of the reason why
And
too is
that's
because we were like, we don't have a
what was
future here.
happening here too.
Yeah, like
Back around the time when I bought my house, the housing market was starting to go through the roof. No pun intended.
yeah,
But yeah, ridiculous stuff.
probably.
How do you capture and keep track of ideas? Do you do it on a notebook? Do you do it on a voice message?
Oh God, we have the
Well,
most scattergory
It
version of
just depends on
idea.
depends on the member, I guess. Because me personally, like I guess okay, we'll start with like the lyric side, I guess, because like I use my I use the notepad on my phone, like the if I have like lyric ideas or whatever, I'll like I've got like I've got folders on my phone of like notepads and stuff, and But Sarah is more of like a physical
I love
media.
physical media like
Yeah.
so much. So I like draw and write everything. Like I have just like notebooks and like drawing pads all over the house. And
Nice.
all of them are like chock full of like insane things
So
and
yeah, there's like
drawings and illustrations and
there'll
like
be like 12
lyrics and
there'll be like
stuff.
12 pages of a book that all have different variations of like the same like lyrics, and then but for like music we like in general as a band we use like tablature programs like Guitar Pro and like Tux Guitar to like write the music. So anytime I have an idea, I'll just open up Guitar Pro and tab out what I've written, or if I don't have the time to tab it out, I will just record it on my phone
Sure.
on the voice memo and
Yeah.
go back to it later.
But
And
we also all talk basically every single day, like constantly on like
Facebook
Facebook
Messenger,
Messenger
yeah.
basically. And like that's where the insane things happen. And like
Yeah.
obviously we also have multiple different band chats because we have multiple lineups. So it's like
And
there's a
you
lot
know
of
that's something
communication.
else I wanted to ask about too with the writing of everything. When you do have two different lineups, do you write with everybody in mind, or
No,
you just do
No,
what you do?
the five of us, like the classic OG lineup of Smoulder does the
yeah,
writing.
like our Finnish
Okay,
members are strictly live members.
okay,
They just play with us live,
Yeah.
and all the writing is done by the OG, the
Yeah.
original.
But we
Smoulder
are
lineup.
incidentally working on another project with some of the Finnish live members, but
okay.
it's a different band because they're also in successful projects themselves.
Hmm.
So it's
Sure.
like everybody's just like constantly making art and making nonsense. So it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't think
And
there's yeah.
that's one of the things that I absolutely love about the independent scene like that, the underground scene, as it were, that there's so many people in bands, there's so many people making art that they often overlap, but it is it is so awesome because there's, even if it's one song or one EP or an album or what, you're still so much awesome content that you can discover.
Yeah,
It's
I
like I
mean
could
that
only imagine 40 years ago being in the tape trader game with the Bay Area thrash bands, and then your cousin from LA or your cousin from Poughkeepsie is in town and brings you this crazy set of, this metal that you've basically talked to him on the phone for a year since the family reunion.
yeah.
That stuff. That's how it feels to me to do this stuff now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously having like open sources of communication is can be really good, but it
Hmm.
can also be really bad.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's upsides and downsides. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
But we're in a really good position because our band is the way that it is. It helps us a lot, and I think because everybody that's affiliated with the project in any way is like a talented artist that we really respect. It means that we have like this really beautiful, rich wellspring of ideas and inspiration to
Hmm.
kind of pull from, and I'm pretty grateful for that. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
We get to work with a lot of really talented people, and that's like fucking sick.
Hmm.
It's
Hell
very
yeah.
sick.
Hell yeah. So it's come to the time where I have a couple more questions, and we are going to ask last meal. Be 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 lavish if you wish. If it's simple, be simple. Go with it. Go with your appetizer, a soup, a main course, and a dessert. What would be
Boy,
your last meal?
I just know that my last
Ooh.
meal would be a bison steak and a Greek salad and wild blueberries that I picked from the forest, and that's all I need.
Mm.
I don't know what my last meal would be. Maybe like
Maybe it could be
a
the German Dutch Black Forest cake that I make you for your birthday.
hmm.
Just
That
cake.
sounds amazing. I am
I'm good at making
diabetic, and
cake.
I would be insanely on that.
Don't overthink it too much, but maybe for an appetizer, like a true Quebec poutine,
Oh,
and
jeez.
then
Mm.
1,000 years.
for the main meal, some like really good like buffalo chicken wings, like really well done, like
Your favorite.
perfect like chicken wings, and then dessert. I don't know. I like a lot of different cakes and pies, but maybe either like a pumpkin pie or a German Black Forest cake.
Sure.
Hell yeah. Dude, that is amazing. Both of them are amazing. Oh, so awesome. Yeah. On me right now, a nice lasagna sounds good.
Jeez, we haven't had
Like a
lasagna.
nice, like 7-layer lasagna. I could totally go with some pasta today. I have one more question, but before we get to it, as always, links are listed below. So please give a like, a share, and a follow. Go do the things and all the stuff. Go see them when they're playing. Go buy merch. Go to the Bandcamp page and, give them your dollars because they are awesome and they deserve it. Artwork alone is just amazing. And then the music on top of it is so fucking killer. Do you have any shout outs you would like to give or anything else you'd like to promote today?
Smoulder.bandcamp.com. That's like the main place. We'll have like a new long sleeve coming in December, and we'll also have I did a zine last year, like my favorite albums of 2023, and I did interviews with like 10 underground bands, and I'm going to do the same thing this year, and I've already done a bunch of the interviews, and that'll be live in early December.
Yes.
A whole bunch of new patches because we're like really involved in the underground heavy metal scene.
We had some patches made earlier this year that we've been selling in person at shows, which haven't been available online, but which will be
in December. So
a new long sleeve with exclusive artwork.
Exclusive artwork that we got from an amazing fantasy illustrator who has also done a lot of illustrations for other very sick fantasy metal bands. I'm very excited to finally launch that.
There'll be like a European version and a North American version of that particular one.
So there's all that, and then we're playing Greece in January and a whole bunch of other shows next year. So come say hey, rock out. Don't be weird about it. It'll be good.
Hell yeah. So my final question of the day is, if you could replace the actor in any film with yourself, what role would you like to have played?
Gandalf.
Wow. I mean, you've got it going. I mean, you totally could.
I have a type. God. Actually, I would like to be the character in Dragon Slayer. Like the main character in Dragon Slayer, not the woman that he's like saving.
I don't know. The Sorcerer's like apprentice.
Yes, the Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Yeah, I don't
Dragon
remember his
Slayer.
name, but
he's great. I love his character, and it's like such an interesting story of like battling a dragon and like saving the beautiful girl.
Love
my
it.
favorite.
Love it. Hell yeah. Thank you all so much for coming to the Metal Forge this week. This has been awesome. Such a fun time. I appreciate the both of you. Sarah, Shon, thank you. On our way out today from your career of the band, what do you want to play?
Oh, from the band, you mean?
Yeah.
Which song? Talisman and the Blade.
Yeah, maybe Black God's Kiss.
Talisman and the Blade. I love that song.
Talisman and the Blade?
Yeah, we can do Talisman and the Blade.
Talisman and the Blade is a great song, yeah.
Hell yeah. Here.
That was the single from Violent Creed, so yeah.
It's also one of the best ones. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Go.
Hear you roll that
For 45 years and keeping Louisville weird, Electric Ladyland has been there for all your eccentricities. While they do offer the best smoking supplies out on the market today, there's a whole lot more to check out. From ashtrays and blacklight posters, to records, incense and burners, and items to stock your metaphysical supply. They're open from 10 to 10, 7 days a week. Located at 2325 Bardstown Road in Louisville, Kentucky, and at electricladyland420.com. Roll out.
Hey metalheads, you like tattoos? Of course you do. If you're in the Louisville, Kentucky area, come on over the bridge to Clarksville, Indiana, and get you some ink done at Ageless Art. If ink isn't your thing, they have a piercing studio as well. Visit agelessartclarksville.com to see some frequently asked questions, meet the staff. The shop is open Monday through Thursday, 12 to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 12 to 10 p.m., and Sundays, 12 to 6 p.m., all appointment-only spots. You can set up your appointments by phone at 812-283-1793 or email agelessarttatooandpiercing@gmail.com and someone will get you set up for your first or your next tattoo or piercing.
Hey metalheads, after going to a rager, what's your ultimate go-to? Mine is totally pizza. So when Overload is playing, or I'm promoting the Metal Forge live showcases, or the big goddamn metal show, I go to Pizza Donisi. Pizza Donisi is gourmet artisan pizza from right here in Louisville, Kentucky. It features things like the pizza of the month, the sandwiches, and also vegetarian and vegan options, which is so totally fucking cool for all of it's awesome pizza. You definitely want to go. Hey, and also from time to time they do cannolis. Oh, so fucking good. You know what they said, man? Leave the gun, take the cannoli. Yeah, just like that in Godfather. They're located right next to the Mag Bar at 1396 South 2nd Street. So either stop in or call in at 502-213-0488. They're open till midnight. The witching hour.
Heineken, fuck that shit. Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Hey metalheads, you all hear me talk about Mag Bar all the time. It is the home to the Metal Forge live showcases and is an integral stop in the ultimate underground metal tour schedule. They obviously feature live music, but the Mag Bar also has daily specials like Pint and Slice Night on Tuesdays with Pizza Donisi. But they also do Bring Your Own Vinyl on Thursdays with DJ Kent Jackson, and Finer Things Sundays. Located right next to Pizza Donisi at 1398 South 2nd Street, open 3 p.m. to 4 a.m. 7 days a week. Get your asses out to the Mag Bar. In 2017, one man's vision and passion for all things metal started out as a record store in his house. Years later, the fight against a mainstream empire continues as Shade Beast. An independent metal collective and online store based in Athens, Georgia, is the world's premier heavy metal brand for music heads that value authenticity over the mainstream acceptance.
featuring original t-shirts from some of the best underground artists, as well as stickers, posters from the Shade Beast Presents concert series. Unique, one-of-a-kind collectibles and small curated selection of vinyl and cassettes from the masters old and new. Visit shadebeast.com and enter promo code SithLord for free domestic shipping on your first order, whether you're a new customer or returning. And be sure to join the Shade Beast social groups on Facebook and the interwebs to keep up with the new release announcements and talk all things metal and Star Wars. You'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and filth.
Welcome to the night. You think you know Night Demon? Then the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast is for you. Step into the darkness as we peel back the curtain to give you an unprecedented, all-access look into the mind and the heart of the demon. We're talking band history, song analysis, studio anecdotes, stories from the road. It's everything a diehard Night Demon fan could want and more. This is the only place to learn the inside scoop, the deep dive trivia, the untold tales from the band members themselves and those closest to the Night Demon story. Need more? The Sacred Night Demon Crypt will be pried open to reveal demo recordings that have never before seen the light of day, all with in-depth commentary by the band and the people who were there for the writing and recording process. This is a gold mine, a treasure trove of all things Night Demon. Head over to nightdemon.net or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Since 2013, there has been a calling from the underground, from the graves of all those unholy, and they decided to make a zine to talk about all of this. Soul Grinder Zine! An independent metal zine to keep you informed on all things metal and horror from the underground. Available in both print and digital formats, they're bringing you the best interviews and reviews out there today. Not only do they do the zine, but they also do compilation CDs. Check them out at facebook.com/soulgrinder.zine and start your subscription now. Hey everybody, let me tell you about the new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Unchained Tapes. They're an independent Pennsylvania tape label. They focus on extreme metal and punk with a killer approach to the tape scene. Visit their web store at unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com now to get your fill of tapes. And for being a Metal Forge listener, enter the code METALFORGE10 at checkout to get a 10% discount on your total purchase. That's unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com.
What's up, Metal Forge fans? This is Alan Bishop, the alchemist of Indiana's Black Forest and head distiller at Spirits of French Lick. Do you find yourself drawn to the unexplained, fascinated by the Fortean, or enchanted by the paranormal? If the things that go bump in the night resonate in your mind, then tune into my brand new podcast, If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything. Featuring first-hand accounts, collected stories, interviews, history, and speculation related to all things not of this world. Available now on Anchor, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and more. Sit back, relax, and remember, if you have ghosts, you have everything.
Hey, let me tell you guys about Mercenary Press. They're an independent London label and distributor of all things metal. Mercenary Press delivers the goods from their own independent zine. Trust me, you're going to want to get in on that. To distributing various bands from all over the world, including Cramp from Spain and Sadistic Force from Texas. Visit mercenarypress.bigcartel.com to find out what all they have in stock and what you can order. And for Metal Forge listeners, enter code METALFORGE10 to receive a discount on your total purchase at mercenarypress.bigcartel.com. Check it out now.